It has been raining a lot, even here. It's been raining a lot.
I guess I put a couple videos on YouTube last week. Did I also put them up on the Google Drive? You got the videos?
Yeah, I got the one you sent me, uh, the one we last had. Yeah, I got it. I managed to do some editing as well. Yeah, and I posted some of them on my YouTube channel. Yeah.
So I feel some of the stuff that we've been talking about has reached the point of I put this uh I don't know how to put it. Belief. That's the only thing I can think of,
Yeah.
I mean, like a touchstone of the underlying belief, not an observation or a trick or a thought or a desire. But going back to some area where I feel connection with other people on the level playing field, and not just other people, but with everything. Starting to get ingrained at the bottom level, like language, like the difference between knowing a language a little bit and being able to speak a language fluently. It's a pretty big difference, right? To think in a language, be able to just think in a language other than your own. It's getting there. It's already there.
Yeah.
But the noticing is coming without impediment or without having to be conjured.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this is just this. And there may seem to be uh or when it seems as if there is an effort that is being made to get to this, you know, that can be seen as just an appearance in this. That's already happening in this, as this. It's not that that effort that's seems to be made is really gonna get somewhere. No, it's already an appearance in this. It's happening already in this, as this. So it isn't going anywhere. And it's not to say it's good or bad. It's just an appearance. It's just what seems to be happening. and it's not personal. It's beautiful, and it might seem to be enjoyed. Something might seem to enjoy the the getting to it, or the process, or what seems to be the journey, which is actually no journey. you know. So, and this doesn't mind. The stories may appear here, anything may arise here. It appears and disappears. When it seems as if there is a journey or there's somebody who's going somewhere who wants to reach maybe the pinnacle of the mountain, uh, that's as well. There may be a recognition in that there wasn't anybody who was doing anything. It was just this totality, or appearing as that, or imagining itself to be something other than itself. The imagination may seem to arise in this, but it's not that there's somebody who's imagining anything. The recognition, when it happens, it is recognized that there wasn't anything that was doing anything. So there's already nothing. There's no doer of anything. Even in the midst of something that thinks it's doing something, there's nobody, there's nothing there doing anything. The one who seems to have a problem and the problem, they are both imaginary. So there's no there's no sufferer and there's no suffering. There's just this. And this can never really be pointed at. This can never be known because it's the only thing there is. It's not even a thing. It's just nothing that seems to be everything. So it's not separate that there may be something that may seem to be pointing to it. So there's no real pointing to it because it's already everything. There's no point A and point B. It's just this. They are not different parts. There's just wholeness, everything. This. Which may appear as talking, listening, happening, thinking happening, waiting happening, the room itself, the lights, the screen, blinking. It's already everything. Even what seems to be stories appearing in it.
I've been a little sick.
Is it a flu?
Oh, it's the cold. I think I've had cold. Yeah. No, my head is okay. Yeah. Cough drop. I've been drinking olive oil. It seems to
Yeah.
help a little bit with the throat.
Oh, nice. Nice. So, what seems to be happening is not personal already. It's just what appears to happen. Whether it seems to be bad or good, it doesn't matter. Even when something thinks what seems to be happening is bad, that's just what's happening. Even when something thinks what's happening is good, that's just what's happening. The thinking itself is just what's happening. It's not personal. The waiting, analyzing, the judgment that may seem to arise, it's just what's happening. There is no doer of anything. The doer can never really be found, except as a thought, which itself as it is just never there, can never be located. So there's no real Charles except as a thought, which is nothing, you know. So right now the seeing is empty. It doesn't have anybody. What seems to be a you may seem to be only in the memory that doesn't even exist. Right now, there's nothing here. Even the story of your life is not even here. Charles and the story of Charles is never here. It can never really be found. So there's nothing here. Except when labels, they are imagined as well, or they are in the knowledge. They are knowledge that is in the memory that this is a computer screen. That's just in the memory. That's the knowledge in the memory that doesn't even exist. So right now it's this is nothing. There's no description. Everything has no description. Everything is nothing. Even nothing is just another label. This is wordless. It can never really be grasped. It can never really be understood. It can never really be known because there is no separation for something to know it, for something to grasp it. So the huge noise that may suddenly appear is already it appearing, is already disappearing as that. Even when it seems, uh, even when something may seem to arise to say, "Oh, I don't want this noise. I wish it could stop." That's just this also expressing as that. There might be something that may seem to say, but the noise is fine with me. I love it. That's the totality, this also appearing as that. So all stories are already this, all stories. It doesn't matter how they may seem to appear to be. All stories are beautiful because all stories are just an expression of this. The politics, uh, the weather, the soccer, baseball, or anything, the movies, everything is just this expressing as that. So when everything is viewed from that space of nothingness, it is seen as just okay. So all stories don't matter to this. They may seem to matter if if this dreams itself to be separate from everything or from itself. It may seem to matter, something may seem to say, but you heard what they said in the news. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. I don't like it. But that when it is seen from here, it's nothing. Even when there's a comment about anything, it doesn't matter. Doesn't mind. It's like the sky. The sky when there are black clouds, when there's a thunderstorm, when there are white clouds, when there's a rainbow, it doesn't mind. Or when there are black clouds and there's a thunderstorm, the sky doesn't say, "Oh, I wish I could see only white clouds and the rainbow. I don't like thunderstorms. I don't like. Mm. It doesn't mind. It doesn't mind when there is a rainbow, sunlight, and white clouds. It doesn't say, "Oh, now I'm happy because of that." In the same way, when there's a thunderstorm and the black clouds, it doesn't say, "This is bad. I don't like it." It's just there. That neutrality is always there. Peace may seem to arise and disappear. Frustration may seem to arise and disappear. This is just this, just the way it is. It is not a man, it is not a woman. It was never born, it never dies. It doesn't get hurt. It doesn't get wet. It doesn't get destroyed. When the body is destroyed, it doesn't get affected. It's not affected by that. It's not affected by the story. The story may take any direction. There may be a war story going on, a war of words. This doesn't mind. It's just there, watching without interest, watching without a desire to gain anything from what is being watched. It's always there. Whether there is anger or laughter, love or hate, it's just there. It doesn't move. It's not waiting for the next exciting experience for it to be happy. This is neither happy or sad. And it's effortless and obvious to itself. There's no effort here. If there is effort that is being made, that effort is watched from that effortless space. The effort is always recognized because that which recognizes efforts is effortless. It doesn't make any efforts. If effort is made, then recognition is always there that that's efforts is being watched from that space which is always effortless. The movement is always watched from that space which is not moving. thoughts about today, thoughts about yesterday, thoughts about the future are just appearances in this. And this doesn't mind. Anything may arise here. Anything might be spoken. There may be an argument. There may be a discussion about uh, the weather, businesses. No, it doesn't matter. This isn't affected by anything. It has been given so many names, but itself as it is already nameless, formless, and empty. And this has never spoken to anybody. There isn't anybody who's speaking here, and this isn't speaking to anybody. There's just speaking happening, listening happening, waiting happening, peace happening. Vastness. This isn't human, so it doesn't mind human affairs. Sorry. If something seems to mind, then that's a dream. That's this appearing to dream itself about itself. So in the dream, it may seem this appearing in a dream as a separate self when it seems to somehow align with itself, you know, when in the dream it seems to be going through some things, some difficulties, but when it seems to align with itself, and then there may be peace, joy that seems to arise. But also, that's just this appearing as that. That's a dream. It's not to say it's wrong or right, it's just what seems to happen. So here, if anything arises, it is always being watched, from this space until it disappears. Watching without any reaction somehow seems to be uh, powerful, even when there is pain that is being felt in the body. When the pain is being watched without uh, any attempt to do anything about it, somehow it seems to disappear. Now it is recognized that everything appears and disappears. If there is a pain in the heart, when there's no attempt to do anything about it, when that is being watched, no matter how severe it may seem to be, when it is watched from that space and allowed to play out, then it suddenly disappears. Then it is seen that everything appears and disappears. So it is indeed a play. It's just a play. Nothing needs to be taken seriously. So this doesn't try to get rid of the separate self because there is no separate self. There's just this. There is already no you to dissolve, and there's already no you to find anything. There's just this. This is already what it is. It's not a man or a woman. It's not a human being. So there is never a you to collapse or to find anything. That's simply, there is simply this, what is. So what seems to be separate is only a thought construct. So a thought can never really find anything. The thought can never really know anything because thoughts are no things. So the separate self is more like a shadow. It seems to be there, but it's never there. Can't talk to a shadow, cannot give a shadow any instruction to do anything. You can't grab the shadow, can't touch the shadow because it's already not there. So if the mind, or what seems to be the mind, seems to be so busy, you know, so busy moving around, going back to the past that doesn't exist, going forward to the future, it doesn't really matter. Because you are not the mind. And there is no mind. There's simply what is this. So there's already no one to make any discovery. When it seems as if there's somebody who's searching, looking to discover some things, when it seems as if the discovery is about to be made, then that's one who has been seeking, it is recognized that it wasn't even there. So there's never really any discovery that is made by anyone, because that one suddenly collapses and it is recognized that it wasn't even there. So there was no discovery.
Right. Well, when I was saying that it's been reaching the level of belief, I guess the experience that I was trying to describe was just a recognition that happens without thinking occasionally, more and more frequently. I got it. No I to get, no it to be gotten. These things I understand. But we live in a world of words. Maybe, apparently. Did you find yourself forgetting things, just like names and things that have happened and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, some things I don't recall, and you know it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Some
When I
things
ask
I may happen to recall, and then that's what's happening. If
when I
I
ask you
don't
if you go
remember
see
anything.
when I ask you if you go see Lila and Kosi sometimes, you oh you gotta think pretty hard about it. Trying to remember the last week.
It's more like trying to remember last Wednesday food, you know,
Yeah, yeah, I
supper.
understand. But I find a lot of people are very trapped in the mind. Remember so much more than I do, you know. I mean, I remember the names of maybe like five people from my high school. Sometimes if I get together and I'm talking to one of those five people, they'll just spin off all these names. Remember this person? Remember that person? Remember that? Why would I bother to remember any of that? You know, but
Yeah.
that can be problematic in the world. You know, you don't remember the name of business associates and stuff.
Yeah, really, there's no real past, you know, there's no real past. Or what seems to be the past, it's what appears now. Everything is appearing now in this. So remembering really doesn't matter. It may seem to matter in the story. It may seem to matter in the story. In terms of like when you're doing a business, that's all. Last week Wednesday, we managed to produce these kinds of products. You know, that may seem to happen. It may seem to be important in the story. That's really it doesn't matter. From that neutrality, you know, everything is okay. And this doesn't mind. You can call this any name because it's already uh is already neutrality. You know, it doesn't mind. You may swear at it, you may call it names, you may say whatever. This isn't Nkosi, but it doesn't mind if it's somebody's calling Nkosi, "Ah, Nkosi." Even their family members, hi Nkosi, how are you doing? How was you?
I went to church with my mother on Christmas, and it was very strange. It was like a big looked like a big television studio, you know, a big industrial building. How do I describe it? Just a huge space. And everything in the space is black. Like, you know, um, so that you only really notice the stage, right? It's huge screens on the stage with pretty pictures and words that, you know, words of the songs or words of the reading and there was lots of singing. It wasn't a very long service, but there's a lot of talk about Jesus. They say it like that. Jesus. Jesus is Lord. never any talk about God. Just Jesus, Jesus. And then he would say that and everybody go, yeah. And some people stand up and get saved. People were saved.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go, and the whole thing was so entertaining. You know, they had this kid up there playing guitar and singing. He was so good, so good singing about Jesus. It's beautiful voice. I just wanted to,
Yeah.
I just had this urge to ask so many questions. What does it mean to be the son of God? How are you not the son of God?
Mm.
There's nobody to ask questions to.
Mm.
But in the end, it feels like what they're doing, the experience that they're having, feels so much closer to a genuine communication with the earth than communication with what is real than all my scientist friends, Ooh, everything they observe might be right, or almost everything they observe is right, but they miss the entire boat of, you know.
Yeah. If Jesus the Christ, uh, actually, he what he meant was that people were supposed to believe in his teachings, not to believe in, as a person, to believe in him as a only in his teachings.
And his teachings were never, ever, ever mentioned. They might mention, like, somebody wrote a letter 200 years later about how, but they were never the teachings. They were just how important this Jesus character is. It's always died for your sins. Died for your sins. I don't think they have any idea what that. It's very strange.
Yeah.
But but it's beautiful. It's a very interesting crowd of people. It's like a lot of white and black people from the South. Not any Hispanic or Asian people like you usually have in America, but just this one sort of two, and then a bunch of Ukrainians. Who looked complete, skin tone looked just like white people, but just completely looked different, because they're dressed differently, they're acting differently, they're smiling differently. And many of them were friends with my mother. So come up and talk to them, and it's really, really excited, very excited to be in a stable country,
Wow.
So yeah,
Nice.
super nice.
Yeah, when there's a preaching or somebody's preaching, and when that is being watched the way it is, somehow it is seen that it is okay, because
Yeah.
that which seems to be happening is already this as pressing as that. Somehow, if the preaching goes south, goes any direction. Somehow it this doesn't mind. It doesn't mind. It is seen that it's just what is. Also expressing as that there are no people, there is no preacher, and there is no congregation, there is no choir, there is no keyboard, there is no building, there is just this appearing as that. So somehow something doesn't mind. But if it seems as if something is minding, then that's a dream that can be seen as just also a dream. It's just this also dreaming itself to be something other than itself. So that too is okay. It's not wrong or right. It's just what appears to happen.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful and empty and a glorious show. You know.
Mm.
Well, Kosi, I should get going and spend a little time with my wife before going back to work tomorrow. So I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Looking for any homework?
If you have some, the homework is assigned by the teacher when the teacher is moved.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say whatever that seems to happen, you know, just let it be watched without reaction. Watch whatever is appearing, but don't engage with it. Don't just watch it as it is until it's recognize that it's nothing and it disappears. It comes, it appears and disappears. Everything appears and disappears. But when there's a reaction, it may seem as if, oh, now it's not supposed to happen. You know, that's what seems to be coming up here. Just being just be that watching, not a watcher, just watching and allow things to be as they are without trying to fix this and that.
Appreciate that. Okay, Nkosi, until next Tuesday. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll
welcome.
get this up tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.